Imagine stepping outside tonight with no heater, no insulated jacket, no warm bed, and no supermarket waiting for you tomorrow. If you're freezing, you turn up the heat, you make a hot drink, you order food. But imagine having none of that. No electricity, no central heating, no medicine, no modern clothing. And winter isn't just uncomfortable, it can kill you. For Ice Age humans, surviving the cold meant solving one terrifying problem. How do you stay alive when nature seems determined to freeze you? And some of the solutions were far darker than we might expect. The first weapon was fire. But fire wasn't simply about staying warm. It transformed human survival. A controlled flame gave people heat, light, protection, and the ability to cook food. Yet even fire had limits. A cave could shelter you from the wind, but cold could still seep through the walls. So humans became remarkably good at turning dead animals into protection. They didn't just eat animals, they wore them. Animal skins could become blankets, shoes, coats, and layers of insulation. Bone tools and laterite needles allowed people to make increasingly fitted clothing, something crucial in extreme environments. Archaeological evidence shows bone awls appearing tens of thousands of years ago, with eyed needles emerging later during the Ice Age. But clothing created another problem. You need animals to make it. And when the landscape freezes, food becomes harder to find. Large Ice Age animals became incredibly valuable. A single successful hunt could provide meat, fat, bones, sinew, hides, and fuel. Nothing had to be wasted. Even the marrow inside bones could become a concentrated source of calories. Because in extreme cold, calories weren't just food. They were heat. Your body is constantly burning energy to maintain its temperature. So for ancient humans, surviving winter wasn't only about finding shelter. It was about finding enough energy to keep the furnace inside their body running. And then we reach something much darker: cannibalism. At Gough's Cave in Britain, researchers found human bones dating to roughly 14,700 years ago. They weren't simply broken. Some had cut marks, chewing marks, and evidence that people deliberately removed flesh and cracked bones for marrow. Most horrifying of all, human skulls were carefully shaped into cups. At first, you might assume these people were starving. But the evidence tells a stranger story. The cave contained abundant animal remains, including horses and other hunted animals. Researchers therefore believe the cannibalism at Gough's Cave was probably ritualistic rather than simply an attempt to survive hunger. Similar evidence has been found at other Magdalenian sites across northwestern Europe. So the darkest part wasn't necessarily that they ate human flesh because they had nothing else. They may have eaten their dead because their culture told them to. And that changes the story completely. Because when we imagine ancient humans, we often picture desperate creatures fighting blindly against nature. But the archaeological evidence reveals something more complicated. They had rules, beliefs, rituals, and sometimes those beliefs involved treating the human body in ways that would horrify us today. But surviving the cold demanded even stranger adaptations. Humans also learned to exploit natural shelters, control fire, cooperate in groups, preserve useful materials, and follow migrating animals across enormous landscapes. Cooperation itself may have been one of the greatest survival technologies ever invented. Because alone, a human is fragile. Together, humans can hunt something enormous, defend a shelter, share food, care for injured people, and keep a fire alive through the night. And here's the unsettling part. The cold didn't make humans strong. It made cooperation necessary. Every warm body mattered. Every piece of food mattered. Every hide mattered. Every spark mattered. A mistake could mean hypothermia. A failed hunt could mean starvation. A broken tool could become a life-threatening problem. And yet, somehow, humans crossed frozen landscapes that would still be dangerous today. They survived winters without electricity, without modern medicine, without synthetic insulation, without knowing whether spring would come soon enough. So when you turn on your heater tonight, wrapped in modern clothing, remember what that comfort really represents. Thousands of generations of humans staring into the cold and refusing to disappear. Sometimes survival required ingenuity, sometimes sacrifice. And sometimes it forced humans into behaviors so disturbing that thousands of years later, we're still trying to understand them. The strangest thing about our ancestors isn't how brutal they could be. It's how creative they became when the alternative was death. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to